Welcome, Doctor. This is Ahmed. On behalf of my group, Ahmed, Karim, Maha, Hazem. We will talk today about the supply chain measurement. We prepare a little video. We hope that you enjoy it. We'll just present it now, and after the video, we'll continue to our presentation. Let's start.
Welcome, Dr. Davide Genta and the group. In today's competitive global marketplace, businesses are under increasing pressure to deliver high-quality products and services to their customers at a competitive price. This puts a premium on effective supply chain management. A well-managed supply chain can help businesses improve their efficiency, reduce their costs, and increase customer satisfaction. However, in order to achieve these benefits, businesses need to be able to measure their supply chain performance. Performance measurement provides businesses with a way to track their progress and identify areas where they can improve. It also helps businesses make better decisions about how to allocate their resources. There are two different performance measurement types. Internal performance measures assess the efficiency of specific activities within a supply chain. They typically focus on factors such as order cycle time, inventory accuracy, and warehouse utilization. External performance measures assess the performance of a supply chain from the perspective of its customers. They typically focus on factors such as delivery speed, damage, and returns. By tracking these and other supply chain performance metrics, businesses can gain a clear understanding of how well their supply chains are performing. This information can then be used to make informed decisions about how to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of their supply chains, which can lead to lower costs, improved customer service, and increased profitability. There are several frameworks for measuring supply chain performance. Three of the most prominent are the SCORE model, the balanced scorecard, and KPIs. The SCORE model is a process reference model that provides a framework for defining and measuring supply chain performance. The balanced scorecard is a strategic management tool that provides a framework for measuring organizational performance across multiple perspectives. The DCM helps companies develop digitally enabled capabilities to transform their linear supply chains into a set of dynamic networks. Each digital DCM feature is mapped to aspects in the platform-agnostic SCORE digital standard, SCORE DS, which integrates business processes, KPIs, best practices, and technology. There are a number of different performance KPI metrics that businesses can use to measure their supply chain performance. Some of the most common KPI metrics include on-time delivery. This metric measures the percentage of orders that are delivered on time. Order fulfillment cost. This metric measures the cost of fulfilling an order. Inventory turnover. This metric measures how quickly inventory is sold. Customer satisfaction. This metric measures how satisfied customers are with the supply chain. By tracking these metrics, businesses can get a clear picture of how their supply chain is performing. This information can then be used to make changes that will improve performance. In our presentation, we will explore the importance of performance measurement in supply chain management. We will discuss the different frameworks and metrics that businesses can use to measure their performance, and we will look at some of the ways that businesses can use performance measurement to improve their supply chains. Thank you, and goodbye.
E alla fine, grazie, Dottor David Genta, ci è piaciuto molto studiare con te.
Welcome back. We'll talk on our presentation about importance of supply chain and the type of performance measures. We'll talk about the strategic performance measures and internal and external one. We'll talk about the SCORE framework, example of a framework. We will talk about the KPIs and balanced scorecard. Let's start. What is the importance of supply chain measurement? The importance of the supply chain measurement. There is a statement, a famous statement, says that we can't manage what you don't measure. That you can't manage any process unless you measure it and know what is the performance measurements on it, so you can manage it correctly. So the performance measurement is the first and the most important step on the supply chain to improve our ability or to improve our organization. So the performance measurements provide input on the client expectation, which is the most important one on our supply chain cycle is our customer. And we measure also the strategic goals that we achieve on our organizations or not. Each industry may weight performance measurement differently. So if we are talking about the customers in the delivery service is most care about the speed. So when we talk about the industry like the delivery, the most important aspect we measure is speed. While in another industry like the manufacturing, the most important measure that we measure is precision, the precision of the production. So it's the measurement itself is not one for all industries. Maha now will talk about the type of measures. Let's talk, Maha.
Good afternoon, Dr. David. How are you? Today, I will be discussing the topic of performance measures. We will talk about 5 types: the financial, operational, strategic, internal, and external measures. Performance measure is a critical aspect of evaluating the organization's success and ensuring the long-term sustainability. In my part, I will focus on the financial and the operational measurements. Let's start with the financial measurement. These metrics provide us with insight into the financial health and profitability of the company. There are 3 main keys that we need to consider. The first financial measure is the net profit. It represents the absolute amount of money left after deducting all the expenses from the total revenue. It indicates the company's overall profitability. The second one is measure the return on investment, or ROI. It's a relative measure that compares the profitability of the investment to its cost. And it helps us to assess the efficiency of investment by calculating the net profit divided to the initial investment cost. And for the third one, or the third measure, we have the cash flow. It's a survival measurement that tracks the inflow and outflow of cash within a company. Cash flow is crucial as it indicates the company's ability to meet the financial obligation and maintain the liquidity. Next. Now, let's turn the attention to operational measurements. While financial measurements provide overall view of the company's performance, the operational measures focus on a specific operational aspects. We have also here 3 main aspects to talk about, or we should consider. We have the throughput, and the second one is inventory, and the third one is operating expense. The first operational measure is throughput. Throughput measure the rate at which the money is generated by the system through the sales. It reflects the speed at which a company can convert its inventory into revenue. The second one, or the second measure, is inventory. Inventory represents all the money that the system has invested in purchasing things it intend to sell. It includes, we can say, raw material, work in progress, and finished goods. Balancing the inventory level is crucial for optimizing capital usage and minimize holding cost. And finally, we have the third one of the operational measures, which is operating expenses. It measures account for all the money that the system spent to turn the inventory into throughput. It includes costs related to labor, maybe utilities, rent, marketing, and all the overhead expenses related to the company. Analyzing the operating expenses help us to evaluate the operational efficiency and the cost management. Next. It's very important to combine the 2 measures together, the financial and the operational, as while the financial measurement provides an overall view for the company's or the organization's performance, the operational measures offer a specific insight of the operational aspects of the business. By combining them together, we gain a comprehensive understanding for the company's performance. After presenting the first 2 points, I will now pass the floor to my colleague Hazem, who will elaborate on the remaining 3 points.
Okay, thank you, Maha. Thank you, Ahmed. Good afternoon or good morning, doctor, whenever you are see this video. So now we're going to speak about very important measures as well, or performance measure as well, in supply chain organization, which is a strategic performance measure. And as you can see, this one here, OTD, on-time delivery, this is one of the main measure as a strategic measure for many of organization, where they are measuring when they are delivering this product or material to to their customers, and the high on-time delivery. This is indicate customer are receiving their order when they expect the time. So it means that our order is on time. Of course, this is also one of the KPI, which is Karim will going to speak in detail about it by the end of the presentation. Order fulfillment cost. This is also one of the strategic measure, which is measures the fulfilling or cost of fulfilling customer. And of course, the low order fulfillment. This is will indicate that we are, as an organization, improving the profitability. Another one is customer satisfaction, which is also it's crucial and important for any organizations that their customer are satisfied, because this is indicates that this customer will be getting more sales, and we are, as an organization, getting more revenue, and so on and so forth. Product quality. When we are producing a product from supply chain, from the supply chain, we need to ensure that this product are in a high quality, so we are achieve customer satisfaction and have more loyal customer. In the next slide, also we will show. Next, Ahmed. In the next slide, as you can see, there is two measure which is not necessarily exist in all organization or on all global company, which is are working in supply chain, but it's a very fundamental now and very important in a lot of countries and so on. Sustainability, okay, where we are measuring the environmental impact, which is a supply chain for our industry. If we are speaking about oil and gas, or we are speaking about pharmaceutical or whatsoever. So there is a kind of environmental impact. This is now a huge focus from a lot of organization, countries, and regulation to measure this one and to reduce this. Karim also will speak about footprint KPI by the end of the presentation. Compliance. This is also a kind of measure which is measure how a certain organization and the supply chain in a certain organization is applying the law and following the regulation and so on. And the higher compliance rate, of course, for a company, means that the organization is legal or following the legal liability and improve the reputation of an organization. Of course, some of the consideration or our consideration for this strategic performance is that these measures need to be aligned with our goals and objective with our customers. So it will be varies. So we will not have to use all of them for all of industries. So each industry knows their customer very well, knows their goals and objective, and accordingly they specify what measures they will need to use. And no single measure, of course, as you can see, financial, operational, and strategic, and still internal and external. No one single measure can even measure a certain supply chain performance. And of course, when we put a measure, or an organization in supply chain put a measure, this is need to be tracked and measured over a time, and to make sure that we as an organization, our supply chain organization, are making their decision based on this performance indicators. In the next slide, we see here internal performance measures. This is very fundamental for an organization internally. So order cycle time, so how long it will take to fulfill an order, order fill rate. Also, Karim will elaborate more about fill rate and the KPI, because it's a very important KPI as well. It's a measure and KPIs. He will elaborate more. Inventory accuracy. So how the inventory or what is the difference between physical and reorder and the inventory and so on, because we need to ensure that we are using our money efficiently and on time. Warehouse utilization, are we using the space efficiently, and so on and so forth. Employee productivity, this is one of the most important internal measure for any organization, because this is will be monitoring and identifying what training we need, what process we need, the resources we need to optimize the workforce efficiency. Because when we are planning for an organization from the supply chain perspective, the people are very important and very fundamental thing when we are measuring the capacity or uploading the capacity and so on. And the next slide, also, we continue on internal performance, which is not necessarily exist in all types of the organization and supply chain. We have supplier lead time, where some of the industries are depend heavily on the suppliers, and this is monitored to ensure that these suppliers are fulfilling and are committed to their time and their distribution rate and so on and so forth. Productivity yield or production yield, this is also one of the measure. Energy efficiency in some industries which is heavily use energy, they need to measure this. They need to measure their energy consumption and how efficient they are, and what is the area of energy saving and sustainability again, and so on. This is also still internal, but it's a kind of strategic and even external. On time production rate as well is one of the internal measure. In the next slide, we're gonna to go finally for external performance measure. And as you can see, when we speak about external, of course, part of our strategic to look outside, to look to our customers. So customer satisfaction is important. Compliance and sustainability is important, because this is all representing any organization externally to the country or to the organization, and so on and so forth. In addition to this, there is some other measure is important as an external for other organization, like damaged goods. Okay, so when we are sending a product to an organization and this product are in transit or in delivery process, how frequent this goods are damaged. So this is one of the external measure. Customer return, also some organization allow return product. This is also a kind of measure which is measure lost loss of sales or loss of customer return. This is indicate the low lost sales. This is help to increase revenue and profit as well. Of course, as I mentioned, lost sales, this is also one of the measure, and the consideration for the external one when we are, or the external measure, when we speak about external measure, we need to consider again our customer needs. What is our customer need? It will be varies between industries and so on. In addition, when we are speaking external, of course, here we are looking for our competitor, what is their benchmark, what is their measure they are doing, and so on and so forth. And any measure we spoke about, whether it's financially, as Maha mentioned, or operationally, or strategic, or internal or external, need to be tracked over the time and measure over the time to ensure that it's efficient and working well. Now, Ahmed, we're gonna to go through the frameworks.
Hello again, Doctor. Now we'll talk about the measurement frameworks. There are several frameworks for measuring supply chain performance. We'll talk about I will talk about the score model, and my colleague Karim will talk about the balance score card and the KPIs. What is the score model? The score model, of course, before if you forgot, Yani, the supply chain performance framework is not only these three models. We have also performance prism, we have EFQM excellent model, we have Six Sigma. All these frameworks can be used to measure different aspects of supply chain performance, such as financial and operational and strategic and internal. So we will just focus on those three frameworks. The score model, which is our first framework here, the supply chain operation reference standard, which is a score model. which is provide a methodology and diagnostics and benchmarking tool to enhance supply chain process quickly. So there is a company called ASCM, which is invent this model. The history of this that they invent this from 1996 till now, and we'll see how this framework evolved the past 3 years. But it was revolutionary for the market to have such like framework. It's applied in different standards in different industries. However, it's a complicated supply chain, or you have a simple supply chain. It's applied on any industry. The component for this is to have 6 management processes. They have plan, so make, deliver, return, and enable. We'll see the details the next slides. The supply chain performance measurement, the framework we have, they measure or they divide the performance attribute into these 6 model or 5, sorry, models or 5 attributes: reliability, responsiveness, is agility, and cost and asset management. The framework is putting a level for each performance attribute. We'll see just these levels right now. Before we see the level, I will illustrate the component of the score. The score coverage, the coverage of the framework is covered all things, all customer interaction with organization, from the order entry point to the paid invoice. All these interactions is covered by the score component or the score model. The supplies, spare parts, the bulk product, software, all market interaction, all aggregation for demand to order fulfillment. All this is covered by the score model. The architecture itself, it's a processes architecture, which is maturity level. We'll see the next slide, the maturity level for the score. And the main sections for the score is the 4 sections: the performance metrics, the management process, the practices, and people. The people is the new born for this model. It is they added lately, yani. We'll talk about the first 3 sections for the process for the framework. The first one is the performance attributes, which is we just have a look on the table. The agility, the responsiveness, all this is called performance attributes, and it's a strategic characteristics used to prioritize and to connect supply chain performance with corporate strategy. This is the connector from the supply chain performance measurement and the corporate strategy. The second section on the score model is the metrics, which is the metrics. They have more than, I think, 250 metrics inside the framework. So this is the next section for the framework. And the last one, or the third one, is the process or practice maturity, which is some sort of practices that apply to these specific attributes. We'll see, like we see now, the score framework itself is have over 250 score metrics in the framework, categorized against 5 performance attributes, which is we call the reliability, responsiveness, agility, and cost and asset management. When you see this first 2 character RL, which is the abbreviation for reliability, and RS is the abbreviation of responsibility, and so on, and 1.1, which is meaning it's a level 1 performance attribute, and we have a level 2, 3, 4. So it's important to learn how to read these performance attributes. Like we are seeing right now on the for example, the scores the process section define commonly supply chain activities. For example, level 2 and level 1, and it is the process is staged. So if you are in level 2, you by nature you fulfill all metrics and measurement for level 1. So each up level is the better, and it's fulfilled the down or the previous levels. The last section, the add to the score version 10, which is the people section. I think it's very important because it's to talk about the skills you have to have in your organization. This is a very simple illustration that we have a four level of score models. The first level, which is the basic one, is the top level, and the next downgrade levels. Each level, as I said, is fulfilled or by the previous level. So if we give an organization 3, you are in the maturity 3. So you for sure you fulfill the previous levels. We can talk about the score model without talking about the DCM. The DCM is a company called Deloitte, which is cooperation with the ACCM, which is a company which invented the score model to digitalize the supply network. They discovered that the initial score model, which is version 12, is some sort is talking about the manual, or there is not digitalized. So they came up with this version of score model, which is digitalized, fully digitalized. They try to add a digital disruption technologies to the supply chain. So they add 6 component to score model 12 to make it digitalized. Of course, the digital capabilities they are built have a complicated supply chain network, forcing a move from sequential chains. Instead of we are the traditional supply chain in sequential chain, no, we are now converting to concurrent networks, and which is the high to turn the linear supply chain to dynamic one. And now we'll just talk about the DCM capabilities, which are digital capabilities. The connected customer, you are always connected to the customer through the digital channels. You are measure the connected customer through your measurement channel. Of course, the product development, they digitalize the product development area, and because we are in a data era, so you have to measure all the data in real-time data, and you conclude these measures and to feedback your process with this data. Synchronized planning, yes, you have to plan synchronously, to accelerate cross-functional decision making. So now the time is a very important factor in the supply chain, and you have all the required to take on time and synchronize business according to the data you have. The intelligent supply, the first section here, you have they put you have to use digital disruptions that exist in the market, like digital contract management. You have AI. You have all these kind of disruptions you have to use on supply chain, and they measure your maturity on this section through this component. The last 2 capabilities, they are measured. The smart operation, you are putting augmented reality on your operations, and robots and robotics. All this stuff is measured by this section on the DCM. And the finally is the last one, is the dynamic fulfillment. The network of cross enterprise system deliver excellent product and service to schedule and good condition. It measures the automated fulfillment signal of your supply chain. Now Karim will talk us about the balance scorecard and the KPIs frameworks. Let's go to Karim.
Okay, so actually here we will talk for balance scorecard, a strategic tool that adopted from a number of firms or companies to check for their progress and to check for how they can comply or balance between different aspects. Next. There are different perspective or aspects that this scorecard divided to. The first one is financially, the financial perspective, which can be include cost of goods and the gross margin and return of investment and inventory turnover. The second aspect is a customer perspective, such as on-time performance, order fill rate, and customer satisfaction and net performance score. The third aspect is internal business perspective, such as lead time reduction, perfect order rate, manufacturing cycle time, capacity utilization. And the fourth one is learning and growth perspective, such as employee training and development, supply chain collaboration, process improvement initiative, and innovation and new product development. In the upcoming slides, there is KPIs that we have tried to connect the KPIs by scorecard, the balance scorecard, and also we have assumed that the majority of the business should have a dashboard so that they have to check in their daily basis to check for their weaknesses point and also take a decision based on the data and factors. The first KPI is a perfect order rate. Actually, the perfect order rate, it measures the percentage of orders that are delivered on time, in full, and without damage or defects. Actually, the importance of this KPI, it indicates for how we are satisfy the customer, since our customer satisfaction is something can be subjective. So we should to connect something subjective by something can be measured. So actually that is one of can be connected by customer satisfaction. So perfect order rate responsible for this point. Sure, a high perfect order rate indicates an efficient and effective in supply chain. Second, next. The second one is inventory turnover. So actually it measures the rate at which inventory is sold and replaced over a period of time. So actually this KPI, the importance of this KPI, it indicates for which stores or locations that we have to looking for. Not all this, not in case of that the company have a different stores or inventories, it shouldn't take the same attention. So actually we just put our attention for the number of inventories that frequently and much and swiftly they turn over their goods or products, so that we have to feed the inventory in a timely manner. Cash to cash cycle time, actually it indicates it takes it's a critical metric that measures the efficiency of the cash flow in the supply chain. Sure, a short cash to cash cycle time indicates that a business is able to quickly convert its inventory into cash. Actually, the importance of this KPI, it gives something justification for kind of initiatives in case of that we have a new type or a new type of goods that we need to sell to the customer. So during our penetration to the market, maybe it's something that can be considered frequently and swiftly if we get our cash back in to the company from type of goods. That's something indicate we have to invest for this type. On-time delivery, it looks closely from the first one we have discussed about, but it covers type of orders or type of customers, which is just they need just-in-time delivery or in a specific time. Maybe earlier before the time the customer has assigned, maybe it will make him unsatisfied. So actually we need to take care about to distinguish between the orders that the customer doesn't care about the time, in case of that he has received the order earlier than the scheduled time, or maybe or with the type of orders that has to be received on the time. Back order rate, it indicates for it measure of the ability of supply chain to meet customer demand in a timely manner, and also it used the importance of the KPI. It measures the company using during their forecasting to check how many orders they can comply with, or how many items or orders, in case of that they had a volume that exceeded, number of orders exceeded their expectations. So maybe there is some other processes should be taken into consideration before to deliver the final product. So actually the back order rate, it indicates for our ability to deliver the product or the service on demand. Fill rate, it's something against the first one, which is how many orders our current stock can fulfill, how many customers we can deliver to them based on the current stock. So actually, it calculates a fill rate. Business need to track the number of customers orders and that are fulfilled from available stock, as well as the total number of orders. Next. Supplier performance. Not all the companies have this KPI, but only these they are working with suppliers. But it's good to have in their dashboard to measure supplier performance, and businesses need to track the delivery time of suppliers. Maybe can indicate for potential issues with suppliers, such as slow delivery time or poor quality products or unreliable supply. Carbon footprint, it's something as a social responsibility from the company. So it's good to have, and maybe some of the countries have regulations the company should be compliant with. So it's mandatory to consider all their regulations. But in other cases, it can be give the company a good image in case of that the country they operate in doesn't have regulations, but at least they feel their responsibility due to the society they are working with.
Finally, Doctor, we would like to thank you for the excellent care you provide us during the supply chain course. Your expertise and guidance have been invaluable, and we feel fortunate to have had you as our doctor. Thank you again, and we wish we meet you soon in Egypt. And thank you on behalf of our team. Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.